long. This projectile would have entered the woman's buttock from behind. Possibly she was running away when she was hit. A sliver of flint, this delicate, must have had considerable momentum to burrow so deep through the fleshy buttock, and then the tough pelvic bone. Such momentum could have only been produced at the projectile's launch, possibly with a spear thrower of some kind. Various themes run through this book. One is a concern about the threat that lies latent in many of our discoveries and increases as our technology becomes more powerful and more widely used. Ever since the hand axe, human progress has in one sense been downhill. Virtually every major idea that we've had, be it farming, living in cities, writing, communications, the uses of fire, transport, weapons, even medicine, has at least at one level made humankind more vulnerable. Nearly all the wonderful technological advances have their threatening or negative aspects, hardly ever fully recognized at the time of their invention. Another issue concerns the regulation of science and who controls this work and the knowledge it generates. I will recount the career and fate of Nikolai Vavilov, the great Russian plant geneticist. His story epitomizes how scientific knowledge may be abused, and how governments use science for their own purposes and not necessarily for the good of their citizens. Vavilov, of course, lived in a country ruled by one of the most malign totalitarian regimes of modern times. But unfortunately, even democratically elected governments cannot always be trusted to use science wisely. A more encouraging theme is that a very large proportion of discoveries and inventions have all kinds of beneficial applications that were not remotely envisaged when they were first made. It is also important to understand that many human technological advances are made in unconnected places around the globe, independently, and more or less simultaneously. Scientists are human and like to congratulate themselves, and just occasionally each other, that they've been first with a revolutionary idea. But most of the time, once human knowledge develops in a particular field or area, scientists everywhere are in a position to make the next leap forward. This is undoubtedly true in my own field of in vitro fertilization. Although we British pride ourselves on having been the first to produce a test tube baby, that first birth could have easily occurred in Melbourne, or Montreal, or even possibly Baltimore. It's just over 400 years since William Shakespeare's collection of sonnets was published in 1609. Since then, we've invented the telescope, the microscope, the steam engine, vaccination, the telephone, aircraft, television, and the computer. Humans have also produced the H-bomb and landed on the moon. Now, using the techniques of synthetic biology, we're trying to create new life forms, a technology which holds great promise, but which may also be very threatening to life on this planet. No doubt William Shakespeare could have leaned over the parapet of London Bridge 400 years ago, speculating with a fair degree of certainty that the city would look pretty much the same over the next few decades. Now, it's a foolish expert who attempts to predict what the technological capability of our society will be even in 5 years' time, because our knowledge is growing exponentially. This massive growth in human knowledge is truly awe-inspiring, but also, understandably, seems quite frightening to many people. Humans do not find it easy to live with uncertainty, and there's a growing perception, particularly in more sophisticated societies, that our pursuit of scientific knowledge and its practical applications may be very dangerous. In the last 10 years or so, in Britain, we've seen public suspicion of genetic engineering expressed in vehement protests by ordinary people about genetically modified crops. We see increasing anxiety about using nuclear power, and there's been considerable press hysteria over human cloning. Many parents have rejected the triple vaccine against measles, mumps, and rubella, and the mishandling of bovine spongiform encephalopathy and foot and mouth disease have made people doubt the integrity of the foods they eat. Attacks on humane animal experimentation have taken little or no account of the value of this important use of biology to the health and welfare of our fellow citizens, as well as to the animals we keep for domestic purposes.